How many of you men would like to be a man after God's own heart? This is not something that happens accidentally. However, it is important. In 1 Samuel 13, the prophet tells Saul that his kingdom is being taken away and given to another because the Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart. Saul had proven that he was not that kind of man. But then in Acts 13, we read where God testifies that he found David, Saul's replacement, to be a man after his own heart. So what is it that made David different than Saul? Saul was an impatient, careless, disobedient, and an excuse-making king. But David's character shows us many attributes we should strive for as godly men. First, he was faithful in little things, keeping the sheep. Then he was zealous for God. When faced with a disrespectful giant, his heart rang with the cry that still inspires us, "Is there not a cause?" He also had great courage in battle. He displayed a friendliness that gained him the love, respect, and loyalty of others. He himself was loyal and showed many kindnesses to his fellow Israelites. Then one of the greatest things I could say about David's character was that he had patience in receiving his kingdom. Yet, as I tell you all the good things about David, there is more to tell. From covetousness to adultery to lying and murder, the whole episode of David's sin with Bathsheba was a black mark against his character. Surely this terrible sin ranks even worse than Saul's. So we might as well start looking for a new king. Yet there is one more aspect of David's character that we as men need, and that is humility. Unlike Saul, David displayed a willingness to humble himself and admit that he had sinned against God. He prayed an earnest, sincere prayer for repentance in Psalms 51, begging the Lord for mercy. God did restore David, although there is always a price to pay for sin. So surely David has learned his lesson and will never sin against the Lord again, right? Yet later, David sins again, this time in numbering the people. And no sooner was the number given to David when his heart smote him over what he had done. He immediately prayed to the Lord, saying, "I have sinned greatly in that I have done. And now I beseech thee, O Lord, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly." David was instructed to build an altar on the threshing floor of Araunah. And when Araunah offered to give him the land and oxen and even the wood for sacrifices, David's good character shines again when he said, "No, but I will buy it at a price, for I will not offer burnt offerings unto the Lord my God that cost me nothing." Men, we can compare David's sins with Saul's sins. And when the dust settles, the only thing that really makes the difference is their reactions. Saul was hard and unyielding, unwilling to admit that he was wrong. Yet David confessed his guilt and wept bitter tears of godly sorrow that, while on one hand could not remove the consequences of his action, on the other hand did restore his heart and soul in the saving grace of God. And this is the reason God testifies to us yet today that David was a man after God's own heart. God is still searching for men after his heart. Besides David's characteristics, the key to being one of those men is found in Matthew 22. "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind." Proverbs 3 follows, saying, "Trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not unto thine own understanding." However, there is another component that goes along with loving and trusting with all your heart, and that component is actively seeking. Psalms 119 says, "Blessed are they that keep his testimonies and that seek him with a whole heart." Jeremiah adds in chapter 29, "And ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart." God is searching for men after his heart. But the bigger question is, men, are you seeking for him?